Nerd on the Podcast is proudly partnered with Apogee Electronics and Odyssey Headphones, leaders in the field of audio.
Standing back up and just seeing through the hole in his chest, and you're like, oh, Bacano. All right.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to Nerd on the Podcast. You didn't need, but you deserve. Well, all level of nerd are welcome.
Yeah, you are.
What do you get when you mix one of the last enchanted war machines with a maintenance bot and an immortal? I'll give you a hint. The anime bookend to our yearly tradition celebrating Black art and artists. Today, we dive.
Actually, drive is kind of appropriate.
Drive makes sense. Yeah, go ahead.
Drive makes more sense.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, great. We drive into the Netflix anime featuring a full Black ensemble with cannon busters.
There we go.
We're diving. We're driving.
We did it. We're driving. We're diving. We're going directions. Well, anyway, let's just get right into it. Your hosts today are me, Caitlin. Hi.
And I'm Tom.
Corey.
And I'm Josh, and this episode is brought to you in part by the members of the Nerd On Nation that is powered by Patreon. As a member of the Nerd On Nation, Jesus, as a member of the Nerd On Nation, you do get fun perks, like you get early access to these episodes. You get bonus episodes that nobody else hears. You get access to secret channels on our Discord server. You get all sorts of stuff. You get some of that behind the scenes action. So do check it out. It does allow us to grow and keep being the best that we can be, like we have said in the past few episodes. It has allowed us to upgrade our cameras. We have 4K
That's why we
cameras
look so nice. Hello.
all around, right? It looks so good. So yeah, check that out. Nerdon.tv/Patreon, and check out that Discord, nerdon.tv/Discord. And a huge shout out to our partners, Apogee and Odyssey. With Apogee, we are using their Hype Mic, the ultimate podcasting microphone. I mean, that pretty much says it all. It really is a wonderful microphone that you can use on mobile. You can use it on Mac. You can use it on Windows. Cool stuff. And also Odyssey headphones, great company, super professional, high quality stuff. Check that out. LCD ones.
Man, I've been using that Mobius.
Yeah?
It's changed my gaming life. That 7.1.
Oh, yeah.
I don't even know how I played games before.
Schmance.
I don't know how I did it.
And actually, this is the first episode that we get to say this, but you can actually shop with Odyssey and support Nerd On at the same time and get discounts. If you go to nerdon.tv/Odyssey, a little bit of your purchase goes to supporting Nerd On. And if you use the code NERDON10! You can get 10% off your order, LCD ones, LCD GX, or Mobius. Limit to one, and yeah.
Yeah.
Good
so
stuff.
Don't discount that code.
Oh, and as always...
Thanks,
And last piece of business, if you like what you hear today, please stop by, rate, review, subscribe, share us with your friends and family, all that good stuff. But that
You guys.
Oh, no.
I have to say about these reviews. Like, if you showed up to my front door
and
you had an entire tray filled with fresh hot cookies, and you were like, I would like for you to have these, and they were all my favorite kind of cookies.
What are your favorite kind of cookies?
Like, leaving us a review is like,
name two
I really
that are on that tray. Two that are on the tray.
Okay, so the white chocolate raspberry cookies are very good, and then I also like the double chocolate, where like it's a chocolate cookie, and then there's
with
like
the chocolate chips.
dark chocolate, white chocolate. Yes.
Dope,
So
dope,
like
dope,
the
dope,
tray
dope,
would be
dope.
filled with
That's like
that.
triple
That is
chocolate.
what giving us a review is like. It's a very warm, fuzzy feeling, and we
And
appreciate
one
it.
oatmeal raisin for me because I'm 75.
One oatmeal, just
75 years
one.
old.
I'll take it to his house later, but I'll enjoy the tray myself. Thank you.
I'll put
our
some nice
comfy chair.
pralines and cream ice cream on it, sit in my favorite sweater chair, and watch Matlock.
That tracks.
This took a turn,
well.
but it's great.
That is the housekeeping. Let us get on to this explosive episode. This cannon busting episode.
Explosive episode. We're going to start off
Oh my
with
goodness.
two 2 segments. Our first 2 segments.
I'm ready for
and,
this.
the first
are they?
one kind of deals with the end of the show, because at the end of the show, we are going to rate it. So that brings us to our
boy.
first segment, if that wasn't a circular sentence already. And that brings us to Guess That
Yes,
Grump.
that grump.
Is it Western? Is it machines? Is it Cannon Busters?
I'm really mad because I'll be honest, I watched this show several times and I can't for the life of me remember the opening song, and it was fire.
You come out of that with, guys, I'm really mad.
I'm really bad.
No beat, no like. Anyway, before we start the segment, I want to say it's just, but I'm really mad. I appreciate your
It's the I got place to go.
your
things to
honesty
do.
and your candidness is respected and appreciated.
So everyone, while we get this first segment started, if you're brand spanking new to the show, welcome. If you're unfamiliar with this, you're about to learn some today. Guess That Grump is the segment where we're going to go around the digital screens. If you're not watching on YouTube, you should be. And we're going to go and guess who is going to have the lowest score from 0 out of 5. 0 out of 5, 1 out of 5, depends how we feel. And no matter
It's
how
1 out
high
of
the
5.
number
You know what? No, hold on. I'm laying the rule down right now. Line in the sand. It is 1 out of 5. If any of us here give anything a 0, I do not respect you any longer. There's no way someone created something.
What if it was La La Land, Corey?
It gets a 1.
There's gonna be
It's a 1
There's gonna be one episode
because
where you
it's-
lose respect for me.
it
Well,
can't-
'cause it's
we
making
can't
a
do-
thing.
Guys, we can't do a 0. We can't
Yeah.
do a 0. We
0
can't
is
do it.
you didn't make a thing.
It's you didn't even try to engage with this. Like, yeah, you like presented me with a movie and it's a black screen for an hour. Then yeah, maybe a 0. But like someone made something.
Someone made a
can't-
thing.
we
It's a
can't
one.
bury
Feature
him.
film.
We can't bury him like that. So 1 to 5. That's the
So
rule.
1 out
Line in
of
the sand.
5, no matter how high the number is, the lowest won't be the grump for the week. Since I always go first, and Corey always explains the in detailed footnote amendment version of our Guess That Grump, I'm going to go first. And I'm going to say that the grump for this episode will be Corey. It's my truth. I'm sticking to it.
That was the most that was the shortest response you could have given so that no one could possibly read into the emotion behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Really
that's called a
frustrating, but also well done.
a poker face. It's called a poker face.
Yeah. Yeah. Well done. Well done, buddy.
Thank you.
So who
All right,
next?
Who's next? Josh or Caitlin?
Kaylin.
I think it's gonna be Corey too.
Ooh.
Okay. Josh?
Sorry. Josh.
I'm sorry, buddy.
No.
I hope we're right.
Wow.
I hope we're right,
wrong.
and that later
I
we're just
hope
gonna
we're
be
wrong.
like,
Piling it on. Listen, guys, before I guess I'll give mine first. I'll say it's between 2. It's between 2 and me for me.
I mean, you know.
I'll say Tom.
Oh, 1 for Tom.
So, would you like to vote also and pile it
How
on?
did the audience get involved?
If you want to take part in these polls, you could join the Nerd On Nation, powered by Patreon.
Wow.
And you could take part in our Guess That Grump. And if you get it right, guess what you are? You're the grass-fed, Gatorade, gluten-free, gas-guzzling,
Gun Gatlin.
gunslinging, Guess That Grumper, Gatorade, guzzler.
There it is.
And
Branding.
First of their name.
TM. And if you get it right, you get a shout out on the show. So join it and take part in the polls. And then you could also be like the rest of the Nerd On Nation who has voted for me, Corey, as the grand of this episode. Just like everyone else. So, way to make your own way, Patreon, way to blaze a trail.
you can dogpile on your
Way
favorite
to,
host.
way to blaze a trail and be different from our other hosts by joining them in exactly what they've done. You do you. That's fine. So that's 4 votes for Corey, 1 for Tom, and none for Josh and Caitlin.
So
So Josh and Caitlin will be first, followed by Tom, by Corey last. A vindictive Corey last. There we
Shaking
go. There
his
you have it.
fist.
So is that what you're gonna be,
for-
buddy?
Spoilers coming up,
All
y'all.
right.
right now
All right.
we're still in spoiler free.
No, I just meant for our
yeah.
poll, our votes.
Yes,
how we
yes.
felt.
Now we're going to go to this complete spoiler of our guests, and then we're going to go into our initial reactions and our first impressions. But it will still be spoiler free of the topic. So if you haven't watched Cannon Busters yet, you can still listen to what we're going to say, and then after that, pause it, and then listen to it, and then listen to our regular stuff. So that being said, who wants to go first with the initial reactions?
I do.
All right, Corey. I love it. It's a 5.
First of all, Tom, you're right. That opening is fire. The whole soundtrack to this show, I am definitely going to hunt down and make a playlist of all the songs from the show because it was just, I want to drive around to it. I want to go to Arizona and I drive around in the desert towns and listen to this soundtrack because it was a beautiful juxtaposition. I really enjoyed the characters in this show. Their dynamic was really wonderful. It was very surprising at times. I'm surprised at who, we'll get into this later if you keep listening to the episode. I was surprised at who my favorite character was as well. So it had a lot of surprises into it within the show itself. And all in all, I thought it was a lot of fun.
Okay.
Oh.
Who wants to go next?
Oh, no.
I'll go next. Pretty much copy paste. You know how in Netflix you can skip intro? I never skipped this intro.
I never skipped the intro to this. I did not.
I was like, no, this theme is banging.
I'll be honest, there was a few times my thumb hovered on the button and then it like played all the way through and I went, forgot.
Yeah.
Missed. Oh,
I was going to skip it,
Drat.
then I missed.
Oh, dang. I mean, at first, I think it was more of like an analysis. Like it was more like watching it and going, okay, am I getting into this? And then I got into it. I watched it a couple of times in prep for this.
Oh, wow.
And because there's a lot going on in the show. There's a lot going on. And I needed to understand it a little bit more. But yeah, I had a fun time. It really, the style of it and just kind of the overall experience of it was kind of like watching like Outlaw Star, where it's almost like an old school. It almost seemed old school-ish.
It is very reminiscent, spiritually successor of all those 90s popular animes.
Oh, yeah. All of them.
Like all of them.
Like all of them.
All of them.
Yeah, so it was fun. I dug it.
Kaylin, you and me.
Rochambeau.
I go.
Okay.
This was like
paper,
a
scissors.
romp. Like
One of
a
these days I'm going to
really
get you guys to
fun
rock,
romp,
paper, scissors.
but also like a lot more bloody than I was expecting, but not in a bad way.
Okay.
It was good. I liked it.
She liked it.
Ooh.
I liked it.
Maybe my vote was
For me, this is the best way that I think I can kind of imagine it is like, think the world of Trigun-ish, with the comedy of Cowboy Bebop, with a little bit of kind of like an echo of the group dynamic, but not full on Cowboy Bebop because people are actually happy, and a little bit of like the art style that would be akin to Pokemon, so that you would want to buy the toy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to buy a Cowboy Bebop toy really that much. I'd buy a figure.
The
I would
eyeballs.
want to buy a Cannon Buster toy.
Like a Sam.
Yeah, or
Like a
or
little
Casey
Sam
for
toy.
Sure.
Corey's like holding up his.
A figure. But that being said,
Spike.
it was quite an interesting experience for me watching it because I think I was just trying to, I've seen a lot of the Saturday cartoon anime. This felt that kind of vibe-ish of like Warner WB or Fox Kids, Deke Dubs or whatever. That's Saturday at 7 to like 9 a.m. And that's why you never skip the intro because it's fire. And watching it and then seeing the graphicness and the violence was like, okay, this is like Adult Swim level now. So it had an interesting blend between the two where it felt like procedural to watch and eat food while you're watching it, but then also like, okay, this is late night watching because it's violent. Other than that, all in all, I thought it was really fun. And I looked it up on the internet and I really hope that a season 2 comes out and that we see more of these characters. And I want to see where they go. I really want to see where they go because I thought it was really interesting how they kind of just like here's the characters, here's the setup, here's the arcs, and they play it, and then all of a sudden you're like, okay, but now what? Now.
Now what? Now.
Yeah, I mean, it's like when you're saying
ooh, wow, now what now?
like when you're talking about like we rate things that are complete, and I'm like, but is this?
complete one season at least. I mean, we've done it with Stranger Things, we've done it with Rick and Morty. Go listen to those episodes now.
Yeah. It's complete at the time.
Yeah.
And we've done it with My Hero. So now we'll move on to the next two segments, which are going to be our brief synopsis and then our production. And our brief synopsis will be brought to you by
Me. With a maintenance robot and a deadly fugitive tagging along, friendship droid Sam searches for its best friend, the heir to the kingdom under siege. End scene.
That's it? Oh, wow. Okay.
That's it.
You didn't even say the name.
So
You
short.
just also said, and also
There's-
other things happen.
And comedy
A lot
ensues.
of other things happen.
Yeah? Okay, I'm intrigued.
Robot awesomeness ensues.
I will be doing the production. I will tell you up front, straight up, I am not Japanese. I do not speak the language. I will try my best to say these names. I tried so hard that the studio that I looked up, I was like, how do you pronounce it? I was like, oh, it's Satellite. Because I thought it was Satellite. I'm like, okay. Because, anyways. So Satellite.
You were
studio
trying
is-
too hard.
Bassy ball.
Yes. Which has given us things such as
no.
Fairy Tale, the Macross films, and Hellsing Ultimate. The showrunner is different in different job details. So the chief director was LaShawn Thomas, who worked on such things as Battleseed, The Legend of Korra, Batman Under the Red Hood. And the director for most of the episodes is Takahiro Natori, who's worked on such things as My Hero Academia, Mobile Suit Gundam 00, and Adam the Beginning. The producer, Fumio Kaneko, who's worked on such things as Momo Curry, Nanbaka, and Girly Air Force. The writers, Matt Wayne, who worked on such things as Static Shock, Danny Phantom, and Ben 10 Omniverse. The cast. Now I have both the Japanese and the English, but I have the works of the English voice. Philly the Kid is played by Yoshisugu Matsuoka, and the American voice is Kenny Blank. And he's worked on such things as Living Single, Saints Row 2, and Motherfuckers. And I looked at that film and the trailer. It's pretty baller. I'm thinking about putting it on the list. Anyways, so Sam is voiced by Hinaki Yano and Kamali Minter, who has given voice works such as Blood Plus, Game Shakers, and The Loud House. Prince Kelby is voiced by Junji Majima, and also the American voice actor is Zeno Robinson from Ben 10 Alien Force, My Hero
Zeno.
Academia, and Pokemon.
Zeno.
And Zeno. Okay. And then Locke is voiced by Nobuyuki Hayama, who is also voiced by Billy Bob Thompson from Pokemon, Transformers Cyberverse, and Blast. Nine, voiced by Yosuke Akimoto and Greg Chun. Super Smash Brothers Ultimate, Yakuza Like a Dragon, and Gears 5. And Casey is Shiori Aizawa and Stephanie Shea from Your Name, Bleach, Naruto, and Shippuden. Naruto Shippuden. The release date is August 15th, 2019. Episodes 12, one season. The runtime for each episode is 24 minutes. There's an unlisted budget because that's just how anime tends to go. They don't list that stuff. And Rotten Tomatoes score is 100% for critics and 68% from audience. And
There you go.
They didn't write how many users, so I wanted to see that.
Okay.
But
Well,
that's
let's
it.
get into it, y'all. Spoilers.
Spoiler full now. If you haven't
Spoil
listened to
the
the episode,
country.
yes, spoiler full country. If you haven't watched the episode, watched the show yet, pause, watch it, then come back. It's
6
really short.
hours. That's all it is, guys.
Yes. So who wants to go
it's
first?
pretty
Favorite
quick.
parts?
I'll go first.
Josh will go first.
One of my favorite moments is I think it's first episode. Casey and Sam are outside the bar, and Casey's now outside the bar. She's in Bessie, and she's got the quarter, and she's like, "What do I do with this?" And you hear from in there, here in the bar, Philly's like, "You use it to start the car," and she goes, "Ha ha, that seems weird." And I just loved Casey's little like kind of like obvious
Weird optimism.
Yeah, weird optimism. And it just cracked me up every time. I
Yeah.
was like, "Oh, you're so sweet. You're cute."
I'm gonna jump on that because basically one of my favorite parts is not such a favorite part as it is anytime Casey is fixing things and talking to them as if they're alive and treating them. And it's such a, like, as the show went on, you learn like why she's so interested in fixing things that people either think can't be fixed or are broken. It's because she's outdated. And so it's part of her to be like, well, I want to help these other things that people see as outdated or unfixable as well, because people view me that way. And I kind of, or that's at least what I read from it. And it's just like, well, that's, I thought that was a wonderful little character trait, and it made me happy every time.
Keelan?
I gotta kind of like,
Oh.
I'm hesitating to say it, but like sick joy out of
Spit it out.
the various ways Philly dies.
Philly dies. Yeah.
There's just
random
like
physics,
so
people
many.
like that.
The man-eating
plant
plant.
was so good.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm never going through this again.
The episode where he gets like imprisoned by the sheriff and he's like, so the punishment is death. How would you like it? And it flashes all the time he's died so far. And he's like, no.
You know what's funny about that is he's like, he's not a good fighter.
No.
Like, he loses a
No.
lot.
Yeah.
And the
A
only
lot.
reason he usually succeeds is because people think they kill him, and then he like comes back and is like, all right, now I know how you work. It's just it's such a weird, like, usually the hero is a good fighter in some way, but he's just not.
And he's
why I
not.
thought
He literally just gets to respawn. That's it.
Yeah.
that's why I thought it was really interesting, where the first time you introduce the character, they have like the wanted thing, which is very reminiscent of Vash, $60 million double dollars. And then also, has the hair like Spike Spiegel, as well as Mugen from Samurai Champloo. So it's like very reminiscent of those characters. But one of my favorite, I know we're all talking about nice and light parts, but one of my favorite parts is actually the episode where Casey thinks Casey thinks they're going to get scrapped. And at the end, Sam is like, no, you're our friend. We would never do that. And I was just like, oh, this is really, it's to me, it was a really nice.
Even though you said
like-
you'd leave once it's fine.
Excuse me?
Nothing.
It was really
And
nice.
Sam was like, yeah, once I find my prince, we're not friends anymore. And you're like, oh.
But like Casey goes through this whole like, am I not useful? And it's like, what was the and then there's the other Casey model, and it's like, what was the last thing they said? And it was just like this downward spiral of like worth in the world and to people and friends and stuff like that. And then like it was that kind of stuff. I was like, that's it was nice. To me, I really liked that episode. It was one of those episodes that felt like if you took it out of the show, you kind of almost wouldn't notice. But then the fact that they put it in there was like, oh, this felt like one of those like
Deep
holiday
into it.
episodes.
Yes.
Yeah.
The moment while they're driving and Philly is trying to teach Sam how to be rude, so to speak.
Oh my god.
And then as she continues with throughout the series, just little tiny quips of like bringing people down, but they're not really.
She makes a whole like group of friends because
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah.
I love that. I think that's definitely one of my favorite parts is when she goes into like basically the bot prostitution town and ends up with all these guys who
Botstitution.
want to botstitution and they want to use her as a botstitute, and she
They're
ends
called
up
boss squirts?
insulting all of them, and they thinks it's hilarious. Like just a room filled with all these men, and she's just sitting pleasantly on a chair like, you smell, and they're just like, what the fuck? I love it.
I also did like
Tom's
when
sense of humor.
it is.
Bring down your friends. It's fun. No, I'm just kidding.
I did
Wee.
like that when Philly the kid was like, "Hey, go get us some food," and then she has to go, and she adventures throughout the town, and she like goes to the casino, makes a ton of money,
Yeah.
and doesn't also, but
Loses
doesn't know
it
what the
all.
value of money is. So she's like, "Oh, I have this," and it's just that kind of like fun like interaction with humanity that she kind of experiences, but like she's such a positive person that it doesn't jade her or anything like
Yeah,
that.
I mean, from the first moment of her trying to introduce herself to the dead lizard who gets thrown out of the tavern. And she's like, oh, it seems you're resting. Well, once you get your sleep, maybe we can be friends. Like,
Oh,
really good. That's a really good like effective introduction to that.
yeah,
character.
and you're like, I know exactly who
this
this is.
Yeah. But I mean, also that just anytime Sam goes full
Oh yeah.
spoiler cannon buster mode, is fucking baller. I love
So
it because
dope.
it also reminded me of Fully Cooley in that way.
Oh yeah,
where-
They
yeah.
finally say it in the last 2 minutes of the series. You're a cannon
it's like,
buster.
what is she?
there
She's a
it
cannon
is.
buster. It's like, it's literally
Title.
like, That's what it is.
But they drop it. They drop hints about it earlier because there's like
Oh no, they drop hints just
The-
saying the
in-
phrase. I mean, it's
in
just
the
The
book.
like
Yes.
sniper version was so dope. Like when
It's
the
nice.
spikes come out of her back, like those pistons. When she's saving Philly
the
and
energy
like
rods. Yeah.
Yeah, oh, I was like, what's she doing? Because we already had seen it, and now we're seeing like a new, like a different version. You're like, ooh, there's different versions.
I'll say this: the thing that this show does to kind of build on what we were talking about. I kind of put it as Philly's intro, but really any character's intro, they did a really good, especially in that first episode introducing the three. They did a really good job of giving you everything you need to know about them within seconds. And that I've seen that executed poorly a lot, and this show does it really well. Like I understood within the first 5 minutes of the show, I understood all three of them to the degree I'm supposed to. Obviously, they grow and things come out, but like who they are at their core and how they function is explained to you without you really noticing that it's happening. They're not like, "Hi, I'm this, and I believe this, and I'm this, and this." It's like you just get to see them.
Hi,
in
I'm
these
this
really-
exposition.
you get to see them in these
Yes.
moments where they get to show who their real colors are really quickly, and it's very, very well done. I liked that, especially Philly's intro was wonderful. Standing back up and just seeing through the hole in his chest, and you're like, oh, Bacano, all right.
One day.
I
day.
did like I think it was like their second adventure, and they go into that one tavern, and it's like it's human chop shop.
Oh yeah.
Oh
and
yeah,
and it's this like slow, eerie turn. And again, you're kind of watching the show, and I'm kind of I was watching. I was like, I don't know the pace of the show yet, because it ends off on a cliffhanger, and it picks up right at the cliffhanger of like them falling down that cliff, and then the next episode starts off with like, okay, cool, we're in this tavern, and then it ends off with like, here's the twist of like these are evil people, and you're like, okay, so are these gonna be like pair episodes? And then some episodes are completely contained of like, you know, when
Adventure of the
Yeah.
week
down
kind
the
of thing.
a one-off.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I really kind of like that, like they left it with Philly the Kid hanging on a hook, and it's like, oh, but he's alive. I mean, you know, we all saw. So it's like it's interesting that they use the same imagery that you'd be like, oh my God, this is so terrifying. But it's like, it's Philly the Kid, and you know, nothing really, he just might get mad that he died.
You're not worried about him. You're more of like, he'll be fine, but that's gonna hurt really bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Another favorite moment is when one episode ends and then the next one goes, and you get to dance to the theme song again.
The shot
When
of
the countdown
castle
goes,
comes in.
it goes next episode in 5, 4,
That's
3,
the equivalent of
and then it's
what
like,
you just did, Josh.
yeah.
Opening.
When they finally show the Hogwarts in the distance.
And then you
Yeah.
just see it, the lights and everything. I really also enjoyed, you know, Corey, you're talking about how they introduce characters. I really like Nine's intro.
Oh, Nine was so
Nine, I really
cool,
enjoyed him.
but also an
yeah.
alcoholic.
Powered
like,
by
also-
alcoholism.
Also, like just like the little backstory he got for that episode, so it felt like very centralized on him and all that stuff. So I was like, oh, okay. And then you think like he was this like noble dude. It's like, oh, he killed somebody. Oh, okay, my bad. Oh,
Yeah.
He killed
yeah,
a child.
oh, and he just
My
peaced
bad,
out.
my
I was
bad,
like,
I'm
oh,
wrong.
okay. And then he used to be this like beautiful, like felt square, handsome Squidward looking face, and then all of a sudden like now he's like Miyoga, aka, you know. So I'm like, oh, what happened to you, baby?
And wait, did he actually say his age at one point? And he's like 35 or something.
Yeah.
He was like, oh,
was really young.
I'm only 30.
Sorry, guys. That beeping you just heard. My standing desk is haunted, and it
nice.
occasionally will start to raise or lower on its own. So,
So Caitlin's
Oh,
chair and your
shout
desk
out.
need to work together.
yeah. Shout out to those
Yeah.
beeps you just heard in the background. Nothing to fear. Nothing. It's not your car. It's not your radio. It's my desk.
What other favorite parts?
Man, I gotta say, the lady with the claw hands that like
Oh,
she can jettison around everywhere, like that was so cool. She's so terrifying. Just like
Yeah.
her hair is so perfectly coiffed, and she's got like glow shoulders, and then she just sends her hands wherever and murders people. It's so
She
cool.
was terrifying. Her hair was so nice.
Okay,
Also,
there was
I
a lot
did
of
lo-
juxtaposition there, but it was great.
I did like the Locke storyline. The guy who invades the kingdom.
Yeah.
I really do. I think I'm really starting to enjoy the child who is abandoned by his village will grow up one day to come back and burn it down. I really, really like that tale or that cautionary tale of that. And it's like when he gets introduced and he's talking to the king and he's like, "Who are you?" He's like, "Oh, that hurts even more that you don't even recognize me." And I was like, And I also did kind of like this aspect of this like magic exists in the world as well as robots. Whenever I like the seeing like the blend, and that's why I really like Dragon Ball Z because it has aliens and dinosaurs at the same time. And it has cars, and you're like, what the hell? So it's also got like, magic water. So it's like when I see those things work together in interesting ways, like I really like it. And I really like the kingdom, how that looked, because so far all you had was just desolate wasteland, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, there is that. And then Philly the Kid brings it up with that floating city of like, all the trash drops down. It's like I used to be in that trash. It's like
The fucking people in the like singing people in
yeah.
Oh, the little plant people
With their prophets
where
in
the
the pit.
crab comes and gets them
Yeah.
out and then takes them right back down.
If there are no other favorite parts, you want to go to favorite characters then?
Sure.
Let's do
Yes.
2.
Oh, I only got one.
Let's do
I
2.
got one.
And one of them has to be a side character. So not
Oh.
the original
Okay.
trilogy, or not the original trio.
Not original trilogy.
Trilogy, not original trilogy of those characters. So one of the main 3, and then one someone else.
I'll start since everyone looks like they're thinking a little bit.
Yeah.
Casey,
Yeah.
for sure. I mean, looking at the show before I started watching it, I definitely thought it was going to be Philly the Kid. But I ended up not really liking him that much. I kind of found, and I think you're supposed to find him kind of off-putting as a hero. Like
He smells really bad.
well, it just it's like mean too. I don't
Smells
know.
like garbage.
Casey just like for me I was looking forward to any time that Casey was on screen. I just found myself like anytime it would like cut to what she was doing while other things were happening, I was like, what is she doing? What do you got going on? What are you doing over there?
What you
and just
doing?
the juxtaposition of being outdated, but kind of defying that is I think really a really great arc. I didn't have a side character ready to go, but I mean, there's an old guy,
I was gonna say chill old white guy.
chill. I don't know if any of them are white, but he's chill. I mean 9.
I mean white bearded.
If I'm picking a side character, it'd be 9.
Kayla?
That fight was also awesome.
All the fights at the end. Oh, we got to talk about those in a minute.
Those are mine too.
Favorite main is probably Sam because of course.
That's fair.
And then side. Ooh, side is
Yeah.
difficult.
I had the one ready.
Side
and
is
then I was
very
like, ooh.
difficult.
Gotta throw it in curve, baby. You know what I'm saying? Gotta do it to him.
I'm tempted to say claw hands just because she's fresh in my mind.
Claw hands. Claw hands.
Glowy
would be
claw
like a-
hands.
I think I'm gonna go with. You know what? 9. Actually, 9.
Welcome to the
9.
team.
I like
Just showing up, being a baller at the end, and just coming in and wrecking stuff with eye patch psycho lady.
Yeah.
I like that he had kind of like a
That was just so cool.
that's my secret. I'm always angry kind of thing. He's like, that's my secret. I'm
That's my secret.
I'm stronger.
I'm
when
always drunk.
Drunk, yeah.
So out of the 4, 2 of 9.
Yeah.
yeah. I'm pretty much
Caitlin's
copy
brain
paste.
stopped.
It did. Well, I was trying to think of what is that character? Something of 9.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Something.
Yeah.
In 9. Yeah. I don't remember.
I have no idea.
6 of 9.
So Josh is his copy paste.
Copy
of
and
who?
paste. Sam
Copy
and
and
9.
paste. No, Casey and 9.
Oh, Casey and 9.
Same,
Okay.
same,
Yeah.
same
I have to
reasons.
look it up now.
Anytime Casey was on
S-
screen, I was just like, I just loved her little quips and like observations, and I just loved it. It was fun.
7 of 9.
Thank you.
I almost
so
want to
close.
say Philly sometimes because
It's Philly.
I liked his backstory, but it's Casey. It's Casey. Casey is just a better character for me. Like, because
Say that,
Casey
Stephanie?
is.
Was Casey.
Excuse me. No,
Sorry, Stephanie. Voice is
but
Casey.
I think my side character I like Odin.
Yeah, Odin
who's
was cool.
Who's Prince Kelby's
Aw,
bodyguard?
Yeah.
You're a
cannon
cannonbuster.
Yeah, he has all the information, but also his name's Odin. You know how are you gonna mess with a guy named Odin? But also like he gets messed up. But also
At
like
any moment, I was waiting him to say, beefing without the beef. No beef.
I
like, "Are you Jet
liked
from
that
Cowboy
he was there to kind of like push Prince Kelby. He's like, eat this. Is like someday you'll need to take care of yourself. And it's like yeah, he's not here for anyone's bullshit. Like when Sam and Kelby don't want to run away, he just slices the tree branch. Like let's go. And I'm like hell yeah.
But he also is
hell
able
yeah.
to have like kind of like that like basic comedy moment when he's like when Kelby's like, "What do you mean no?" And he goes, "I said nope. It's like no, but more casual."
Nope is one of my favorite words to use. Nope means like you really want to say no hella hard. It's like, hey, can you help me? Nope.
I think there's a few episodes where I say nope to Tom and he goes, "Oh, okay."
Oh, okay, my bad.
Nope.
Shit, I know what that means.
Right.
But I really liked how
It's a non-starter right there.
how he interacts with Hilda, and they
Hilda.
have that like we are both kind of pawns in the grand scheme of like royal politics and the magic in the world and all that stuff. And Odin just does what he can do. And if we got more Hilda, then obviously, but Odin, my boy.
More Hilda.
But now we'll move on to the next part of the show, which is going to be our qualms. And then finally, we're going to rate it. So, who's got first qualms?
I'll do it.
Okay.
I'll do it.
Do it.
Don't. Okay.
Most voted for man for this series.
bear.
For me, I felt like it was, I don't want to say thematically, but like genre is too many genres in one. The magic mixed with the Western mixed with mechs. I know you said you liked that. And for
Hurt
me,
my feelings, bro.
it made it feel like I didn't know what exactly was dangerous and what wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, mixed with like, I know you guys like the stuff of being like, oh, Philly's going to be fine. But for me, it took urgency out of a lot of stuff when he was like, you're like, is he going to die? He's not going to die. He's fine. I was like, yeah, he's going to be fine. It's going to hurt, but like, he's going to be okay. So I didn't know what to be worried about. And it took some urgency out of it. The later half of the show, I liked a lot more than the early half.
I think the only time you ever felt like bad for Billy or Philly was that ghost that could suck his life continuously. That was the only time. But even then, like he'll just come back.
But then even with the mechs, I didn't know what was scary because like you have those rollerblade mechs, but they died and exploded when they hit water towers. And like, so like, I was like, so are they threatening or not?
Video game logic, bro.
Yeah. And so it was just like, not to say that like multiple genres can exist. Like, like you said, Tom, like Dragon Ball Z does it really well. Obviously, things like, Outlaw Star and like even Trigun has like machines and westerns together. So like it was tonally wasn't consistent, and that's what took me out of it a bit.
Versus like a Chrono Trigger or something like that too.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So
Akira Toriyama, baby.
That was my first one. My other one was the big spoiler for endings. The ending, I literally said what out loud. I was like, what? Because this big battle, everyone grows, they save the prince, and then for some reason no one's paying attention for like a second, and then they kidnap the prince. We're right back to square one. Like,
but they have more friends.
No. No. Like, first of all, where did the prince go that he was far enough away to like get kidnapped when everyone's standing looking at each other?
Well, she's got the claw hand. She just
Glowy
pick him up
claw
and pull him
hand.
away.
Lady.
No one.
She's a
You're
pro
telling me
claw
all these
machine
talented
user.
people who came together to beat this, like, just decided, like, let's not look at him for a minute, and this whole adventure will be fine. And that logic got me. I was like, no, dog. Like, No.
Does anyone smell that their vote was like right on the money? Okay.
Yeah. So it just left me like really deflated. Like the whole adventure was for nothing.
Yeah. I'll go next just because I echo.
Have you ever played Mario?
Yes. But she gets kidnapped by a different scheme every time, not just being like, bloop, I got you again while Mario's right next to you. Immediately after you saved her.
Okay.
So
yeah, that's fair. That gives a little time.
He's got to go. He's got to like go recoup
which is
and
like
shit.
a week.
And it also made Philly's big punch mean.
Sorry.
Yeah, it made Philly's big punch mean nothing because she was just like, anyway, I'm fine and I'm gonna steal him anyway. And you're like, okay, so
That's fair. That's fair.
Wow,
with that like graphic style change and he punched her, I thought she had disintegrated. So when she was back, I was like,
it's just a regular punch.
it was just a regular punch. It just
From a
looked
regular
really
dude
cool for a minute.
who just can't die. Josh, what was yours?
I was going to say that I echo a lot of what Corey said, so it's pretty much a copy and paste. The only thing that I would add for myself, and I don't know if anybody else experienced this.
I swear to God, if it's with audio, I have to check your system.
No, it's not audio. It had to do with like lip flaps and captions.
That's a Caleb question.
Oh.
Sometimes
Oh yeah. The captions
lips-
are not right at all.
the lips didn't move at all, and somebody would have a full sentence, and you're like, cool.
I will say this: Netflix's caption game sometimes is a little.
The captions
off.
were like totally because I tend to watch my shows while I'm doing the elliptical, and since it can get kind of loud, I put on the captions.
Oh yeah, the captions for the don't match they're a translation of the Japanese.
Oh, it's just the rough translation.
And then the
and
English
that's
dub, there's certain lines that aren't even in the captions that people are saying in English that don't even make
one
an appearance
in particular that
caption.
happens is like when Philly the kid's about to shoot Prince Kelby. Spoilers. And Casey says, "What's wrong?" The caption says, "What's wrong?" And then Casey voiced act English says, "What are you doing?" It's stuff like that. And I think it's to Corey's point of like it just looks like what they got translated. And then they left that. And that's the English CC, though, closed captioning, versus what they dubbed. So I don't know that industry that well of like what happened.
It seems like Netflix didn't do its due diligence to make its own. They just kind of like downloaded a PDF and were like, this is the captions. And like, nah, that's the translation.
I wonder
bro.
if there was like budgeting issues or something where, because there were a couple moments just to kind of jump on some of that where I noticed that like it's almost like they ran out of money for the animation. Where I noticed things were like very detached from the background and no one moved at all. Like, and it was like very, very obvious in a couple of spots. So I'm wondering if that's another.
It's like when the
we
king's
didn't
getting
have the money to do
tossed around. He looks like someone like recorded their screen while they were dragging a PNG.
Just put the Ken Burns effect on it, and let's move on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and,
but I can't knock the show for those subs because I don't know what
Yeah.
subtitles. I mean,
well, and this was so a little bit of history. This was actually a Kickstarter campaign.
yeah.
It started in like the comic book series happened in 2005, and in 2014 a Kickstarter series happened, and then it got fully funded, and then they were like, "We're making the show. We're doing the show." They did the show.
It's pretty amazing.
And then they still, as of right now, I don't think, even on the Wikipedia, it says they still haven't fulfilled everything for the Kickstarter.
Wow.
The last update was in 2018. So I think maybe they're still scrambling to get things fixed.
Because there's a lot of
and
backers.
Get that up to par. So
It's pretty amazing what they did with what they had.
Yeah. I mean,
this is like, this is quite the feat to put together.
Yeah.
And a lot of it is amazing. But there are some things that jut out like that. And I'm sorry, that was a whole long tangent on that, Qualm.
No. It was good to inform of because while I say that kind of thing about like it looks like someone did that could have been what happened because that's what they had the budget for. And yeah.
Any other qualms, Kaylin? You just did the one.
That wasn't really a qualm for me just because I had
The animation at the end?
that wasn't so much a thing for me. I was actually more in line of the like there was just too much happening. Like Corey said, it was a genre thing. And for me, it was just like, I'm being presented with way too much information and too many characters. And it didn't,
Like Game of Thrones.
it coalesced a little bit at the end, but I was kind of in the what camp when we got to the ending, because it's like, wait, this feels like the episode before the last episode of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Where's the last episode? Like that was a qualm for me. It was just like, it felt like it didn't really, it was a cliffhanger ending, but it didn't feel like a cliffhanger ending, because it's like, no, there's supposed to be another episode afterwards. So it was just like no. Where's the next one? Grabby hands.
I do want more.
Give it to me.
Yeah. Yeah, and then my other qualm is just I wanted more.
For me, I
After I broke your heart, Tom.
no, I have qualms. My issue is a little bit of I think I have a lot of issues. I have trouble caring about anyone. I think the only person I really care about is Sam. And I think it's because they kind of like, you just get to know the character, but you don't really know what they have at stake. You don't know what they're looking for really, other than what Sam's journey is. So there's that in that sense. And that's why like I call it like a little bit of like the Saturday morning cartoon of like, it's okay in that sense. It's enjoyable. You can watch it, but that just makes it where it's not like, you know, not looking, I didn't want to binge it. It didn't make me want to like go to the next episode, go to the next episode. I was like, I'll watch it when I can watch it. And I over prepared for this episode and watched it like twice because I was like, maybe I'm not picking up what I found, because there have been things like Over the Garden Wall and other and Peaky Blinders where like something that's really, really good that like I just never got past the first episode. And so with this, I was like, okay, well, there's that. And then I did not really enjoy that the side characters kind of did not stick around the merry band until and they just came out at the very end. It felt very like, well, you have to. You got to bring them back as the end of this last episode. It didn't feel like, oh, hey, we've regrouped, we've lost everything. Now we have to get reunited with our friends and then come to this point. Or like in Trigun, where it's like, sadly, each of the main characters that you grow and love just die. Or Cowboy Bebop, where it's like, okay, now everyone's going their separate ways, and then everyone's going to have their own separate arcs. So like, it just kind of felt like, all right, Nine's back. I'm like, why? Well, I kind of liked him, and then all of a sudden you threw him away, and then all of a sudden you came back.
He like hands on hips. I was here the whole time.
I'm like, well, shit, baby, damn, you know, like.
I was behind the trees.
That's kind of basically what he said.
Surprise!
So those are my two specific qualms, and I'll leave it at that. And that's why at the beginning I was like, I want now, bring more. So that's it.
More, please.
Rating now. So Caitlin and Josh. Go
Caitlin.
first.
Josh,
I
go
already said
first.
it.
Said
Caitlin.
it. He did say it. He did say it first.
Dang it.
Shotgun.
Okay. I'm going to say like the first number that jettisoned out of my brain was 4.2.
4.2 for the Caitlin.
Nice.
Josh?
Nice. I am going to give it a solid 4.
4
Four
for the
for
Josh.
Tom, with one vote, is next.
Tom is a solid. Also, that's not also. It's a 3 for me.
3.
It's a solid 3 for me.
Whoa. All right.
Oh,
Oh,
here
boy.
it comes.
I thought for sure I was going to be the grump, y'all. I
Here it
thought
comes.
for sure,
Here it
but
comes.
by point 2,
Oh, here it comes.
Oh, my
with a
God.
3.2, I have surpassed Tom to say,
Burley.
I told you so. Not really. I didn't earn that whatsoever.
Well, you voted for me, so
I did. I did vote for you. I just thought you would maybe be the most critical of it.
I've just got this sinking
that
feeling
your chair's falling.
about how wrong I was. Yeah, my chair's going down.
That's the sinking feeling? Okay. And my
That's the
phone
sinking
decided
feeling.
to close as I'm looking up the shout outs because we did get some votes for Tom.
Who
So
voted for
violent.
me?
Actually, I think so this is actually one of our higher vote tallies. Thank you all for participating. We had 12 votes on this one. big time votes. I had a lot of them. Tom, you only got one vote actually from Kyle Robbins. K-Pax, baby.
Oh, wow.
K-Pax gets a shout out.
Knew
I
it was
voted
up.
for
They
Tom,
knew.
which is funny because he mentioned it on our stream last Sunday, and Tom was like, "No spoilers, no spoilers, no spoilers," because he kind of said the same thing. He was like, "I don't know, the ending was a little disappointing,"
No spoilers.
but yeah, he guessed right.
Well, I mean,
He
and
got
Kyle, in LA at least, he's probably the one white guy that I know has watched a crap ton of anime.
Yes,
And a lot of my
That's
friends back home in
true.
Sacramento watch a crap way more than I do. And so, like, that being said, like, there's not much I can attack this show for, but I've seen a lot of first seasons. I mean, like,
I'm with you on that.
So,
Yeah,
but this is, I'll say this too. And one thing that this show will have that I think no other show really can take, other than Boondocks, is that I'm fucking glad it's a whole show of black people. Like,
yes,
Yep.
I'm gonna say it in this way. Like, I've watched a shit ton of anime, and it's like in America, it's a little depressing when you can't feel comfortable cosplaying as anyone because they're not your skin tone. And like,
I mean,
go ahead.
I've past conversations, people have had facial blindness with characters because all that changes is like
The eye color.
a slight hair tone shift or eye color and hair color doesn't shift at all.
Yeah, and so
you know.
for me, like, I only had characters like Oob in Dragon Ball Z, and it's one out of the entire cast, or Mr. Popo or fucking Piccolo, and those are terrible examples.
That's
But like here, it's like
yeah.
it's not. I don't want to say it's brown blurring, but it's like cool, fucking A.
Oh,
Like
Jesus.
there are characters who are not light skinned guys with like pointy noses. You know, everyone has different facial types and facial body types and hair colors, white, red, exploded hair. You know, not everyone's spiky. So it's like
Everyone was very distinct in this.
Mhm.
Like no one was a copy and paste of someone else.
No.
Even all of the background characters were very distinct.
Yeah.
The lizard people, the guys that are crying over the cooler of spilled beer, there's everything has so much care and attention to detail in this show, and it's just really great to see.
There's a lot to love about this show.
yeah.
which
And
I-
that's why for me, like I find it very important because I want more of it to come, because I think for me, shows like this normalize the representation. It's not.
I agree with that.
It's not. Boondocks is kind of almost like an anomaly because it's very, very keen on black existence and black culture, and it talks about it and it's its subject matter. Where here, it's like black people just get to exist and be part of these cool, awesome adventures. And it's like, yeah, that's.
I mean,
normal.
you need one to have the other.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, you did need Boondocks to kind of blaze a trail
Yeah.
for something like this, but
Oh,
we
Boondocks.
can do that some other time. I've
Can't
just been
wait for
drawing
that
Philly
episode.
the Kid on my notes.
Awesome. Everybody at home.
I'll say this: he was my favorite design.
Yeah.
Oh
By
yeah,
far.
his giant poofed of hair.
I was like,
I
you
love.
are all the characters I've loved in past animes put into one design. I love this.
And
Can you smell that?
I love the concept of each death is a tattoo. Like the way that they would appear is really cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sing us out, Josh.
I
has
feel
been-
complete.
I feel complete. Everybody home, thank you so
do
much
too.
for listening. We appreciate you. If you're new to Nerd On, thanks so much for listening. We appreciate you. Check out our brand spanking new website, nerdon.tv, for all the information on everything that we do, all of our linky links, all that good stuff. Like I said at the top, stop by, rate, review, subscribe wherever you listen. Like Tom has mentioned, all of our episodes are on YouTube, so stop by, watch. You can see all of our shenanigans on video. And that has been the episode. Thank you
I
so
wasn't
much.
the grump.
You were not the grump. You proved the people wrong.
Just a final reminder.
You paused
don't listen to
Matlock.
Not the
Ja Rule.
grump.
You just paused Matlock, shook your fist.
I went
Ate
back
your
to my-
oatmeal raisin cookie.
with my pralines and cream ice cream.
with
I
your
wanna
pralines
watch
and
my
cream.
shows.
Thank
All
you so
right.
much
There we
for
go.
listening, everybody. You know the drill. As always, nerd on.
Nerd on.
Nerd on.
Ending broadcast.